Abandoned in darkness, the old alien ship floated silently in deep space. Its metal body was broken and rusted. Large parts were missing. There were no lights, no signs of life. It looked like a dead ghost. A small human ship moved slowly toward it. Inside were 4 space salvagers. They wore black armor with lights on their shoulders. Their job was to explore lost ships and find anything useful, tech, tools, or secrets. Commander Rick gave the orders. He was strict and didn't like surprises. Next to him was Jack, the youngest in the team. He was quiet but always alert. He looked out the window at the giant alien ship. "What happened to this place?" Jack asked. "Battle damage," said Rick. "Maybe war, maybe pirates. Doesn't matter. We go in, we check, we get out." The human team entered the alien ship, through a broken hangar door. Inside, everything was dark. The floor was cracked. Strange alien writing covered the walls. The air was cold. They walked slowly, flashlights showing the path. Dust floated everywhere. The place felt wrong. "This was a prison ship," said Lena, the tech expert. She pointed to broken cells and metal doors. "Look at these. They used to keep prisoners here." "Anyone still inside?" asked Jack. "No. Chance," said Rick. "This place is dead." But Jack wasn't sure. As they moved deeper, Jack heard something strange, a soft sound. Like crying. He stopped. "Did you hear that?" he asked. The others looked at him. "Hear what?" Rick asked. "A voice," Jack said. "Like someone whispering." Rick shook his head. "Just your mind playing tricks. Keep moving." But Jack couldn't ignore it. The sound came again. Very faint. "Help me." Jack turned and followed the sound. He walked alone through a dark hallway, away from the team. The walls were wet. Something dripped from the ceiling. He reached a locked cell. It was deep in the ship, far from the others. No light here, only darkness. But inside the cell, something moved. Jack stepped closer. He pointed his light through the bars. A girl. She was sitting on the floor, chained to the wall. Her skin was pale, almost glowing. Her eyes were large and silver. Her clothes were torn. She looked weak, sick, almost not alive. When the light touched her, she raised her head. "Please," she whispered. "Don't leave me here." Jack's heart beat faster. He had never seen an alien like her. She looked young, maybe his age, but she wasn't human, still. She looked scared and sad. "Who are you?" he asked. "Zara," she said. "They locked me here, long ago. Please help." Before Jack could speak more, footsteps came behind him. It was Rick and the others. "Jack, what the hell are you doing?" Rick shouted. Jack stepped back. "There's someone here," Jack said. "She's alive." Rick looked into the cell. His eyes narrowed. "She's not human," he said. "Leave her. We're not here to play hero." "But she's alive," Jack said. "And chained. Someone left her to die." Rick shook his head. "If she's still alive after all this time, she's dangerous. We don't know what she is. We don't trust her." Lena scanned the area. No record of her in alien files. Maybe she was erased. "Exactly," Rick said. "There's a reason she was locked up and forgotten." Zara looked at Jack. Her eyes were full of pain. "Please," she said again. "I did nothing wrong. I was just trying to help. They were afraid of the truth." Rick turned to leave. "Seal this area. We move out." The others followed him, but Jack stayed for one more second. He looked at Zara, still chained, still begging. "I'll come back," he whispered. Her eyes lit up just a little. Jack ran to catch up with the others, but his mind was not with them. It was still in that dark cell, with the girl who should have been dead, but wasn't, and something deep inside him told him this was only the beginning. The decision Jack couldn't sleep. His body was back on the ship, but his mind was still inside that dark alien prison. He kept seeing her face, Zira, the chained girl with silver eyes, the one they left behind. Why was she still alive? Who was she really? Why was she locked up? Alone? For so long, he sat on the edge of his small bunk, staring at the floor. Outside the window, stars passed slowly. Silence filled the room except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. He remembered her voice. Weak, shaking, but full of pain. Please, don't leave me here. Jack stood up. He walked out of his room and moved down the cold hallway. The others were asleep. Only one guard on night watch. He avoided him easily. He had done things like this before during missions. Silent steps, dark corners. He knew how to disappear. He reached the airlock that led back to the alien ship. It was sealed. But Jack had already copied the unlock code. The door opened with a quiet hiss. Jack stepped into the dark once more. He carried only a flashlight, a small toolkit, and a deep, burning feeling inside him, a feeling he didn't fully understand. As he walked back through the prison halls, he felt the fear again. The place was dead. But something about it felt alive, not in a good way. When he reached her cell, she was still there, sitting in the same position, head down, like a ghost. But as soon as the light touched her face, her eyes opened. "You came back," she said softly. Jack knelt near the bars. "Who are you really?" he asked. Zira didn't answer for a moment. Then she spoke. "I was a science officer," she said. "I found something my people didn't want the galaxy to know. They called me a traitor. They said I would destroy peace. But that was a lie. They locked me here, erased my name, made me disappear." Jack frowned. "What did you find?" She looked at him, her voice suddenly sharp. "A weapon. Not just a weapon. A truth. One that could end this war." "What war?" Jack asked. Zira tilted her head. "The one your people are about to lose." Those words hit Jack hard. "What are you talking about?" he asked. "Your leaders don't know," she said. "Or maybe they do, and they've chosen to hide it. A fleet is coming. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now, your planet will burn, unless someone stops it." Jack looked down. "And you expect me to believe you?" he asked. Zira leaned closer to the bars. "I don't care what you believe," she said. "But if you walk away again, billions will die." Jack stared at her. His heart was racing. Everything in his training told him this was wrong. She was the enemy. She might be tricking him. This could all be a trap. But his gut told him something else. This wasn't just some alien criminal. This was someone important. Someone dangerous. Someone who knew something big. And if he walked away again, he might regret it forever. He stood up. "I'm getting you out," he said. Zira's eyes widened. She didn't smile, but he saw something change in her face. Something small. Something like hope. "You'll need to break the core lock," she said. "It's connected to the ship's heart." Jack opened his toolkit. "Tell me how." For the next hour, Zira guided him. They spoke in whispers. Jack worked fast, nervous, listening for any sound, any sign that someone might come looking. For him, sweat rolled down his face as he opened panels and rewired circuits. Alien tech wasn't easy, but he was good with machines. Suddenly, the final lock clicked. The chains around Zira's arms fell to the floor. She stood up, slowly. She was weak, shaking. But she was free. Jack handed her a small blanket. She wrapped it around herself. Her eyes looked different now, still soft, but there was fire behind them. Not anger. Something older. Something powerful. "Thank you," she whispered. Jack nodded. "Let's go." They began walking back through the ship. But then, a loud siren started to wail. Red lights flashed. "What did you do?" Jack asked. Zira looked shocked. "Nothing. Someone's watching. Someone knows." Jack cursed under his breath. "They've activated defense mode. We have to move. Now." Doors began to slam shut behind them. Robotic arms crawled out of the walls. Drones powered on. They ran. As they turned a corner, Jack pulled out his laser pistol and shot down a drone. Sparks flew. Zara stumbled but kept moving. Jack helped her up. "We won't make it," she said. "Yes, we will," Jack replied. But even as he said it, he wasn't sure. The ship was waking up, and whatever secret Zara carried, someone didn't want them to leave. Escape plan, the alarm didn't stop. It echoed through the metal walls like a scream, loud, sharp, and endless. Red lights flashed above Jack's head. The prison ship was awake now. Alive. Jack and Zara ran through the cold, narrow corridors. The metal floors shook under their feet. "They know," Zara said, breathing hard. "They're coming." "Who's they?" Jack asked, firing at another drone that came flying from the ceiling. "Not your people," she replied. "Not mine, either. Something else." Jack didn't understand, but he knew one thing. If they stayed, they were dead. He tapped the comm link on his wrist, trying to reach his ship. "Team Alpha, respond. I need backup, do you hear me?" No answer, only static. "They're jamming the signal," Jack muttered. Zara grabbed his arm, eyes wide. "They don't want me to leave this ship, and they'll destroy it before they let that happen." Jack's mind raced. Think, fast. They were deep inside the prison ship. The hangar bay was 3 levels up. Doors were sealing all around them. The fastest way out was now cut off. But Jack remembered something. During the scan, he noticed an emergency escape pod docked at the far end of the ship. No power, but still, attached. "We go for the old pod," he said. "It won't fly," Zara replied. "Maybe not far, but far enough." They turned left at the next junction, moving quickly but carefully. Jack checked corners. Zara leaned on the wall, weak but alert. Suddenly, a voice came from the ship's speakers, cold. Mechanical. Not human. Not alien either. Unauthorized. Prisoner movement detected. Execution protocol active. Zara stopped walking. Her face turned pale. "They're sending the Sentinels." Jack had never heard that word before. "What are Sentinels?" Zara looked at him with fear in her eyes. "Machines. Not built by us. They protect secrets and kill anything that tries to leave with them." A loud thump echoed behind them. Then another. Heavy footsteps. Jack grabbed Zara's hand. "Move. Now." They reached a dark hall. The lights were broken. Water dripped from the ceiling. Ahead, they saw the escape pod bay, a small room with a cracked window and rusted panels, but before they could reach it, a figure stepped out of the shadows. Tall. Metal. Glowing red eyes. The Sentinel. It had no face, only a smooth helmet and armor made of dark steel. Its arms were long, ending in sharp blades. Its voice was silent, but its message was clear. "You're not leaving." Jack fired his laser gun. 3 shots hit the Sentinel. It didn't move. It raised one arm and shot a beam of blue energy. Jack rolled to the side, dragging Zara with him. "Run!" he shouted. They ducked through a side door. Jack slammed it shut and locked it with his code stick. It wouldn't hold for long. "We need a new way," Jack said. Zara opened a panel on the wall. "There's a tunnel under the floor. Old maintenance path." She dropped to her knees and pulled up the metal plate. Jack followed. The tunnel was tight, dark, filled with steam and cables. As they crawled, Zara whispered, "You don't know what you're risking, Jack." "No," he replied. "But I know what I'm saving." Zara was silent for a moment. Then she said, "I have something they fear. Not a weapon. Not a virus. Truth. Something ancient. Something buried." Jack looked at her. "What truth?" She looked straight ahead. "A map." "A map to what?" "To the place where all wars began." Jack stared at her, shocked, but there was no time to ask more. The tunnel shook as the Sentinel cut through the floor behind them. Finally, they reached the end. Jack kicked the panel above them and they climbed into the pod bay. The escape pod was there, old, dusty, but still whole. He jumped into the pilot seat and began hot-wiring the system. Zara sat beside him, her hands shaking. If we escape, they'll follow. They won't stop. Let them try, Jack said. He powered the pod. Sparks flew. Warning lights flashed. The engine roared. As the Sentinel burst through the wall, Jack hit launch. The pod shot out of the ship like a bullet. They spun through space, fast and wild. The prison ship grew smaller behind them, until it was just a dot. Jack leaned back, breathing hard. Zara closed her eyes, finally free. But far behind them, deep in the shadows of the galaxy, something was watching. Something old. Something that remembered Zara, and it was waking up. The chase begins. Space was silent again. The escape pod drifted through the black void, far from the wreck of the prison ship. Fire still burned on its metal shell. Sparks danced across its hull, but it held. Inside, Jack sat in the pilot seat, hands shaking. Blood on his sleeve. Heart pounding. Zara sat beside him, eyes closed, head resting against the wall. Her breathing was slow but steady. The bruises on her wrists were deep. The chains had left more than marks, they had left memories. Jack stared at her. Who are you really? He remembered what she said in the tunnel. A map to the place where all wars began. Had no idea what that meant, but something about the way she said it, cold, distant, like she had seen things no one should, made his chest tighten. He tapped the pod's dashboard. Navigation offline. Comms blocked. Engine running on backup, he muttered. Great. He looked out the window. Stars everywhere. No ships, no signal, no help. We're alone, Jack said. Zara opened her eyes. Not for long, she whispered. Jack turned toward her. What do you mean? They're coming, she said. They always come. Jack didn't ask who they were because he already knew. This wasn't over. Not even close. 4 hours later, the pod had landed on a dry, red planet, one with no name, no city, no sound. Only desert and cracked stone. Jack had picked it because the scanner showed zero life. No settlements, no signals, a perfect place to hide. Or so he thought. They made shelter in a cave near a canyon. Zara rested inside. While Jack set up a comm booster to try and contact command, he tried again. This is Jack Rayner, ID 4412, requesting urgent evac. I have a living alien survivor with intel that could stop an attack on Earth. Repeat, this is not a drill. This is a threat warning. Static. No response. But then, a sound. Not from the comms, from the sky. Jack stepped outside. The sun was dim, hidden behind a red dust storm. Wind howled across the desert. His boots sank into ash. Then he saw it, a black shape cutting through the sky, silent, sharp like a blade, a hunter ship. They found us, he said. He ran inside. Zara, get up, we move now. She sat up slowly, eyes wide. How fast was it? Minutes, Jack replied. They tracked the escape signal. Then we're out of time. They left the cave, running into the canyon. Jack led the way, rifle in hand. Zara close behind. Behind them, the black ship landed. Dust exploded. The ship didn't open like normal vessels. Its walls peeled back like a flower made of metal. From it, shadows stepped out. Not human, not alien. Machines. But these weren't like the Sentinel. They were something else. Tall, thin, elegant, silent. Their bodies looked like glass and bone but moved like liquid. Red symbols glowed on their chests. No eyes, no mouths, just purpose. Zara froze. Her voice dropped to a whisper. They're called the Forgotten, the last guardians of the First Empire. Jack fired a warning shot. Do they bleed? Zara shook her head. No, they remember. They ran deeper into the canyon. The Forgotten followed. No sound, no weapons drawn. They didn't chase like hunters. They drifted like ghosts, always close, never fast, but never stopping. Jack led Zara through a rock tunnel and into an ancient ruin, a structure buried in the sand, half broken, half alive with glowing symbols. Zara touched the stone. This place. It remembers me. What is it? Jack asked. A relay station. From before the last collapse, it can send the map. The map to what? Zira looked up. The grave. What grave? Of the first humans. Jack's blood turned cold. What are you talking about? We're the first. Zira stepped into the circle of stone. No, Jack, you're not. Your kind came later, rebuilt from ashes. That's why they fear you. That's why they chained me. Because I learned the truth. Humanity was here before, and they were gods of war. Suddenly, light burst from the stone. A map appeared. Stars, systems, black holes, and one red point flashing deep in the unknown. Zira uploaded it to Jack's wristband. You need to take this to your people, she said. Tell them the enemy they fears is not coming, it's awakening. Outside, the Forgotten surrounded the ruin. Jack aimed his rifle. How do we get out? Zira smiled sadly. We don't? Jack looked at her. Then what are we doing? We buy time, she said, for Earth, for truth. Jack didn't blink. He turned, fired at the first machine. The war had started. Hero of two worlds. The signal reached them all. Not just humans. Not just allies. Everyone. Across the stars, in cold space stations and living alien cities, on moons bathed in fire and planets buried in ice, the message played. Jack's voice. His warning. His truth. The war you were told about was a lie. We were not born as survivors. We were kings once, gods of war. We ruled and we destroyed. And now, the ones we buried are waking up. Screens flickered. Generals stared in silence. Alien diplomats froze mid-speech. Rebel fighters dropped their weapons to listen. Even those who didn't know who Jack Rayner was listened. Because deep down, something in the message felt real. Ancient. Terrifying. And familiar. 3 days later, chaos across the star Schumann High. Command declared Jack a traitor, a false messenger and enemy collaborator. They denied the map, denied the ring station, denied everything. But it was too late. The data was spreading like wildfire, decoded by scientists, confirmed by ancient ruins, whispered by alien elders who had stayed silent for centuries. The truth had teeth now, and it was biting back. Deep space. Unknown system. Jack's ship had survived. Barely. Shattered. Scorched. Floating near the ancient ring station like a ghost. He had survived the firestorm of missiles, but not without a cost. His body was burned. His ship offline. And he was alone. Until she returned. A light blinked outside his cockpit. Not a warship. Not a drone. A small black vessel. Silent and sleek. Alien in design, but familiar in feeling. The door opened and Zira stepped out. Alive. Changed. Her eyes now glowed faint gold. Her skin carried strange lines that pulsed with ancient energy. Her voice, deeper, wiser. You made it, she said. Jack smiled weakly. Barely. Zira placed her hand on the glass. You did what I couldn't. They think I'm the enemy, Jack replied. They're scared. Good, she said. Fear means they're listening. Inside the ring together they entered the station, a place untouched for 10,000 years. Golden halls, walls made of crystal and memory, machines still humming, powered by something unknown. They reached the core chamber, a massive sphere, floated in the center. It pulsed like a heart. Inside it memories flickered. Wars, empires, betrayals. And the end. Jack stepped closer. What is it? He asked. The throne of the first, Zira said. It holds the seed of what your kind used to be. Then we destroy it, Jack said. Zira didn't move. Or, you take it, she whispered. Jack turned. What? You could become what they were, she said. A leader, a shield, or a weapon. If you take the seed, it will change you. Give you power, make you more. I don't want to be more, Jack said. I want to stop the war. Then you'll need to become more, she said. Because the forgotten, they're not the worst. The ones who built them are still asleep. And your signal woke them. Jack's hands trembled. So that's it? I either become a monster, to stop monsters, or wait for the galaxy to burn. Zira stepped closer. No, you become something else, something new. What? A human, she said, but one that remembers everything. Jack stared into the sphere. He saw his reflection. His fear, his fire, his failures, and his future. 1 week later, Eartha fleet returned, but not to attack. They came to talk, alien envoys, human defectors, soldiers who had heard Jack's truth and left their posts to join him. They called themselves the Second Flame, not a new empire, but a new start, and at the center of it was Jack, no throne, no title, just a man with a voice and a memory of what came before. Epilogue. Far beyond the edge of known space, in the darkest corner of the galaxy, far from light, something moved. Giant machines stirred from ancient sleep. Signal echoed through dead systems. A voice from long ago. The children remember. The fire is lit. Awaken. And somewhere in the shadows, eyes opened. Not human. Not alien. Something worse. But now they would not find a divided galaxy. They would not find silence. They would find a man waiting, with 2 worlds behind him, and fire in his heart. The hidden truth. The stars were quiet. But Jack's mind was not. The stolen pod flew silently through deep space, guided only by the coordinates Zira gave him. Behind him, the ruined desert planet faded into memory. And beside him, Zira lay unconscious. Wounded. In the final fight against the Forgotten, Jack had carried her onto the pod, blood on his hands, fire in his chest. He didn't know if she would live. He didn't know if anyone would, but he knew one thing. Someone had to tell the truth. 12 hours later, Human Command Base, Sector 14. The pod slammed into the outer docking bay. Security.
Rushed in. Guns, EPs. Medics. Confused and scared. What the hell is this thing? One of the... She's not... She's the key.
Soon, Jack stood before the High Council. 5 powerful commanders who ran humanity's space fleet. Men and women in black uniforms, with silver stars on their chests and eyes that had seen war. You went rogue, Commander Bray said. You broke protocol. You disobeyed direct orders. And I'd do it again, Jack replied. Because what I saw out there changes everything. He placed the data crystal from Zara onto the table. The room went quiet. This isn't just intel, Jack said. It's a map and a message. From who? Asked Admiral Celine. Jack hesitated. From before us, he said. From the first humans. The room went cold. Impossible, one of them muttered. Jack tapped his wristband. A hologram flickered to life. A spinning map of the galaxy, filled with glowing lines and red warnings. In the center, a symbol none of them recognized. A spiral with wings. This was hidden in a ruin on an unmarked planet. Zara unlocked it. It leads to a system that doesn't exist in our charts. That system is classified, Celine said, sharply. Buried centuries ago, even we don't have access. Exactly, Jack said. Someone buried it. Someone didn't want it found. He leaned forward. And you knew. Bray stood up. Watch your tone, soldier. You knew we weren't the first, Jack said. And you kept it hidden. Celine stared at the map, her voice low. Because the truth would destroy everything. The first humans were not explorers. They were tyrants. They ruled the stars with fire. And now they're waking up, Jack said. Silence. Then Celine spoke again. Where's the alien girl? In medbay, Jack said. Barely alive. Terminate her, Celine ordered. Jack's eyes widened. What? She is not human, she said. And she carries information that will tear apart this alliance. Do you want panic? War between systems? Do you want chaos? She saved my life, Jack said. And she saved yours. That map. She gave it to us. She could have run. She didn't. Celine stepped closer. And if the galaxy learns that humanity was once a race of monsters, what then? Jack clenched his fists. Maybe we face it. Maybe we stop pretending we're perfect. You're a soldier, Bray said coldly. You follow orders. Not when the orders protect a lie, Jack snapped. The room froze. Get out, Celine said quietly. Jack turned and left. But he didn't walk like a man who lost. He walked like a man who knew something bigger was coming. Hours later, secret corridor near Medbay, Jack entered the dark hallway. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. He found 2 guards lying on the ground, unconscious. His chest tightened. He ran into the medbay. Zira's bed was empty. No, Jack whispered. He turned. Something sharp touched his neck. A cold voice behind him said, "She's gone, Jack, and she left you something." The voice belonged to a man he didn't recognize. Tall, dark armor. Face hidden, the man dropped a small device onto the table, then disappeared into the shadows. Jack picked it up. It lit up in his hand. Zira's voice echoed from the device. "Jack, they lied to you, but I didn't. I can't stay. They'll kill us both. But you can still reach the place. The one from the map. They'll stop you. They'll say it's madness. Go anyway. The answers are there, the proof, and something else." A pause. Something worse is coming. One day later, uncharted space Jack stood alone on a small ship, flying toward the coordinates. The council had ordered him grounded, stripped of command, labeled a traitor, but that didn't stop him, because in his hands, he held the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Not a weapon, not a virus, not a bomb. The truth. And someone, or something, out there was waiting for him to find it. Betrayal and fire. Jack never thought his own people would turn against him. But now, he stood inside the cockpit of a stolen scout ship, alarms blaring, hull shaking, with 3 human warships closing in on his position. They're not here to rescue me, he thought. They're here to erase me. "Unknown vessel, you are ordered to power down and prepare to be boarded," came the cold voice from the nearest destroyer. Jack didn't reply. He tightened his grip on the controls and stared at the flashing red dot. On his screen, the coordinates from Zira's map. It was close now, less than 1 jump away, but he wouldn't make it if they caught him. He had one option left: run through the fire. 12 hours earlier, the betrayal after escaping the command base. Jack had turned to the one person he still trusted. Kira Malik, a fellow soldier from his original squad, brave, loyal, and once like a sister to him. He met her in an abandoned outpost on Moon 9X12, far from sensors and council eyes. Kira arrived wearing civilian gear, her face unreadable. "You've really messed up this time," she said as they sat inside a cold, dusty command room. Jack handed her the device with the map and Zira's message. Kira watched the hologram in silence. Then she whispered, This changes everything." "I need your help," Jack said. "Just get me 1 ship, something small, fast. I'll go alone. You never saw me." She looked him in the eye. "Do you really believe it?" she asked. "The first humans, the buried empire, all of it?" Jack nodded. "I've seen too much not to." She hesitated. "You're risking your life for the truth." "Then it's worth it," he said. She gave him a nod. "All right. I know a place." Jack felt a spark of hope, but it was a trap. When they reached the hangar bay, 2 soldiers stepped out of the shadows, weapons raised. "Jack Rayner, stand down," one of them said. Kira stepped back, eyes lowered. "I'm sorry," she said. "They offered me a deal. They said if I helped bring you in, they'd forget my past." Jack stared at her, betrayed, heart cracking. "You sold me out for a clean record?" he asked. "No," she said, eyes wet. "I did it to survive." He closed his eyes for half a second, then moved. In one motion, he grabbed Kira's shoulder, spun her between himself and the guards, and fired 2 quick shots. They went down. Kira fell to her knees, shaking. "I didn't want this," she whispered. Jack didn't say anything. He just walked past her, climbed into the scout ship and took off. He didn't look back. Now. Present moment, back in space. Last warning. The voice repeated. "Power down now, or be destroyed." Jack took a deep breath, then whispered to himself, "Burn me if you have to, I'm still going." He punched in the jump drive. The engines screamed, the ship lit up like a comet, and vanished into the black. Seconds later, plasma fire tore through where he'd been. The unknown system, destination reached, Jack's ship dropped out of hyperspace, and for a moment, everything was still. Before him floated a broken world, cracked in half like an egg. Orbiting it was a massive ring station, ancient and half dead. Glowing ruins floated beside it, remnants of something long gone. His scanner went crazy, unknown. Tech, old energy signatures, and something else, a pulse, like a heartbeat. "Is this it?" Jack whispered. Then a voice answered, not from his comms, from inside his mind. "You were not meant to return." Jack gripped the controls. "Who are you?" "We are what your kind used to be. The ones who made war into art, peace into control. Gods who wore flesh." He saw images flash across the screen, ancient humans, wearing golden armor, standing on thrones of stars. Galaxies burning behind them. Alien species kneeling. The first, humans and conquerors. "Why show me this?" Jack asked. "Because you are the key to what comes next." The ring station opened. A single light flashed inside, inviting. But behind Jack, a sensor lit up. Warships incoming. He didn't need to guess who. The human fleet had followed him, and they were charging weapons. One last choice. Jack stood up in the cockpit. The truth was right in front of him, but so were missiles. He could run, or he could transmit the truth. He opened the panel, inserted Zira's map, and activated the beacon. "This is Jack Rayner," he said aloud. "If you're hearing this, then you've been lied to. The war wasn't what you thought. Humanity wasn't born innocent. We were kings and monsters, and the past we buried is awake again." He hit send. Data streamed out into the stars. Too fast to stop, too wide to block. The truth was out. The warships began to fire. Jack sat back down, eyes calm. "Do your worst," he whispered. And as fire surrounded him, the truth burned brighter than ever.